Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the OnReviewCast. I'm your host here, Ash, and it's your number one go-to show for all things media and all the things that we review here on the OnReviewCast. Welcome. Today we're taking a look at episode 6 of the, Squid Game. Still on the Squid Game here. And just like every other episode, guys, we're going to go ahead and read our episode breakdown courtesy of Fandom. And the sixth episode, what am I saying? My gosh, great start. The sixth episode is called Zero and X, and it's the sixth episode, a penultimate episode of the second season of Squid Game. It's the 15th episode in the series overall. Synopsis: Juno and his team prepare to infiltrate a suspicious island. A momentary stakes and tensions rise. Players split into two opposing factions. The X's and O's. And let me know if you guys have heard that song or familiar with that song. I don't even know who sings that song. Anyway, yeah, guys. So getting to the episode. Wow, this one was interesting. This episode starts off, so just jumping right in, like we always do. I feel like we say that every episode, but we're getting to it. Jumping right in, the episode kind of picks up where it starts off with the last one, and where it's kind of like they're playing the game with the merry-go-round. I'm actually blanking on what this game is specifically called. It's called Mingle, right? Yeah, okay. So they play the game. This is the Mingle, and it's the game where they have the merry-go-round, and each player stands on the merry-go-round and has to get a certain number of players into a particular into a particular room. And as they're trying to get the players into this room, the players that remain outside of the room, or in some cases what we've seen in this episode, have too many members within the room or too little members within the room, are eliminated. So the episode picks up like right where it lasts off, and with them actually starting to play this game. And they be doing their thing. They just be Squid Gaming. I don't know what to say. But this episode, I think, from a psychological standpoint, deep diving into this, I think this is a very interesting, in the name of it being called Mingle. I think it really is an appropriate name because it's kind of like you have to be a part of a group. When you're at a party or you're socializing to any kind of degree. This is pairing up, and grouping up and trying to run into these rooms. Basically, what the game is essentially about. And so the first round goes, and the first amount of players the first amount of players that they actually need is 6. And they get on. It's basically the main cast that groups up. And just like how I explained it, they group up and they watch. They're able to get inside of this room, and they are able to see that the eliminated players that didn't make it in, or have the inadequate number, are basically eliminated. They're basically taken out. But in this room, the main cast, the shaman lady, of course, is yelling to everyone as to how privileged they are to be in her presence and to be alive, and to be in their life basically because of her and her ability to just be there. Which is honestly, oh my god, basic bullshit of people being essentially full of themselves. Honestly, like I actually hate. I want to get into this a little bit real quick. I fucking hate it. Now, I fucking hate how certain individuals are like think that they're so holier than thou that nothing on this green god earth can say that they're wrong or they're doing something wrong. They hide behind the facade, or the blindedness of religion or whatever it is that's guiding them to say that you could never be wrong. I can never be wrong, and I'm the hottest shit that ever hit this earth. And it's kind of like, no. It's kind of like, no. You're you're just on a power trip. You're just feeling yourself right now. You're really, really feeling yourself right now. It's just very, very annoying. And it's like, okay, nothing can touch me. I can never be called wrong because, I believe in this or I am this. And it's just like, no, like we are all, just human beings on this planet trying to live our lives and trying to get by and do whatever we can to just basically survive. I realized that all that rhymed. Again, I didn't mean to do that, but but there you go. Oh, I incidentally, yeah, shameless plug. I am Ashley Anomaly. I am the Anomaly on YouTube, Spotify, and everything, everywhere you stream. So check that out. I do some rapping. Anyway, getting back to the episode. So Thanos, in the second round, we have the Thanos group, and essentially the number was 5. That they needed, and it's the Generation Z team that essentially assembles, and they kick this guy, and this is how anyway, it's hang on, it's the number is 5, and they had 4. The number's 4, and they had a 5th person within their group, and this person was called anyway, Gyeong. I'm gonna mess up the names because I'm not Korean, guys, and I apologize. I'm not Korean. I can't apologize. I'm not Korean. I apologize that I'm butchering these names. But he kicks out one of his friends, though, one of the teammates that he was essentially in for the first round, Gyeong-soo, and he kicks him right in the chest, and he fucking kicks him out of the group, and he rolls out of the group. And the second he gets in there, and he's starting to count all the people, and he's looking around. He's like, hello, wait a minute. Thanos is like, wait, I'm counting all these people looking around. Where's my boy Gyeong-soo? And he hear gunshots in the background, and he's like, Gyeong-soo, and it's like, motherfucker, you kicked him out. It's like, wait a minute, motherfucker, you kicked him out. You're the one that essentially caused his death, and you chose to to exclude him from the group. And I think essentially proves like how we all know this, of course, how fucked up Thanos is at this point, but thanks to those lovely drugs that he's been taking through this entire experience, I should say. Experience is like probably not the best word, but like through this entire thing, essentially. And like through this sequence, we also see a team that like had a least number of members within the room. They got basically murked as well and taken down. So they I think that essentially showed that the rules, well, we learned from the beginning of Squid Games, we know what this is by now. Squid Games are very strict, but also they essentially don't tolerate any kind of cheating whatsoever. And I thought that was kind of cool because I was like, okay, well, obviously, like they would know. They was like, because he's the first guy. I was like, oh, I don't think they noticed. Don't worry, I don't think they noticed that we only have 3 people in there. It's supposed to be 4. And it's like, no, dude, like they're watching to make sure like you don't cheat, because obviously anybody could like put dead bodies in there, and you could do other things, or do other ways to like essentially cheat this game. And it's it's a weird thing, and the whole philosophy behind this show is fucking weird. But I will say that the fairness of it, I can respect. The game is the game, right? You choose to be a part of this game. You literally sign some NDAs or whatever it is. You chose to be a part of this game. You're playing the game fairly. Playing the game fairly, I can respect. When you don't play the game fairly, or you want to do some foul, fucked up shit in the game, then that's kind of messed up. But yeah, so back to the episode. So the shaman lady, during this, number of 4 that they had to be a part of, the shaman lady gets left out this time, and the Gyeong's group and the lady, the transgender individual group, they split up into 2 groups of 8, and they leave the shaman lady essentially behind. And she is looking something foul towards them, because the first round, right, she was the savior. She was the holier than thou person. She was the holier than thou individual that they should be thanking their lives, thanking their sweet souls that she was a part of their group. And it's like now it's like, oh, now you made some enemies, now you're the enemy. Anyway, something that weird or odd that the Gyeong's group basically essentially brought up was that the baby would have counted basically as another individual as 3, and they make that joke. And I think that's kind of hinting towards definitely something a little bit darker. Maybe we'll see within the actual fucking next season or next series of this, if they actually put the baby inside of the game, because that's fucking that's a whole kettle of fish. But the foreshadowing in this is like, it may be some kind of foreshadowing, but like we'll see. At least these people are sick sons of bitches. Anyway, so the next round essentially starts, and the number of individuals that they need, I think this time, is 3. And so it brings up another interesting, again, mingle, right? This game is called. It's an interesting fact that the Gen Z group, I'm gonna call that the Thanos group, with like the kid, the timid kid, and the girl that looks like Kyrie, basically. The girl from Kingdom Hearts. They basically look like Kyrie from Kingdom Hearts, and Thanos. All those, I'm gonna call this the Gen Z group from now on. The Gen Z group essentially is split up between Thanos and Thanos' little crony. We know that little guy, that dweeb-looking guy with a bowl cut. And Minsu. And Minsu essentially being a part of, being wanted to be with the boys, wanted to be with them. But like the girl that was essentially within this group, I know I'm being vague, guys, but I'm not gonna mention the names because I don't want to butcher the names, to go into detail with the names. But the girl that was essentially with them was like, come with me, and like, let's get away from these, because like they're toxic, right? They're not very like unhealthy, cool people. They just suck, basically. Thanos and his little crony, they're bullies, they suck, they bully people, and they suck. They're not good people. So she's like, come with me, like, shoot, like, don't be like one of these fucking like druggies and being into all of this other stuff, and like let's partner up, let's stick together. And Thanos and his little crony was trying to get him to like play rock paper scissors to choose like which one of the two, because they need 3, what they would take. And and she puts out her hand so it looks like a paper, and he puts out the scissors so it looks like a scissors, so it looks like he basically participated in their rock paper scissors thing rather than just going with her, which he probably should have done, honestly, at the end of the day. I mean, because they're douchebags, but the peer pressure got to him of him being the douchebag. So he wanted to go off the other douchebags, and potentially wanted to go with the boys to be a douchebag. That scene, and I know we're going into very detail with that scene. That scene was very interesting to me because I feel like that it kind of plays off of a note of like the peer pressure in social situations that definitely get outlined within the real world, not even within the game setting. Just because like you decide to pair up with these people for survival doesn't necessarily mean that you like these people or you want to be around these people or you want to enjoy any kind of interaction with these people. It's a very interesting take. It's a very interesting it's a very interesting thought, because I know people are, even if you're listening to this now, you're probably working in a job, or you're probably a part of some kind of group where you're just like sitting next to this motherfucker who's like, I really don't like this fucking guy, but I know I gotta be here to make this money. You know what I mean? Like, I know I gotta be here to make this money, but I don't like these people, but I'm just doing what I gotta do. And like I said, like, the people on this planet are just doing what we gotta do, and it is what it is. In that particular round of the game as well, we also saw how it was 3, and the mother and the son actually couple, they got disconnected, they got separated somehow, so because they were going off with one another at first, but these 2 guys basically kidnapped the mom's son and dragged him away from her, and it was kind of like, oh, what's gonna happen to her. But luckily Gion and Young Il, the front, aka the front man, the guy who's posing as the front man, takes her away and essentially saving her life. And it's a very strong, very, very strong scene, showing that bond and that connection between, the mother and the son. But also, I think if we pay attention to the undertones of this game was essentially like mingling. You sometimes when you mingle, the child has to leave the nest, and it's not always, the child doesn't always want to leave their mom. But I noticed that, like, in that scene, the mom didn't even really like put up much of a fight or yell or scream to basically try to get her son to come back and to be a part of her group. She just like watched it happen. Yeah, she's an older lady or whatever, but she could have just been like, she had a little bit of bite, you know. She's a little lady, but she got a little bit of bite. We saw that in the first episode, and when they were playing that game in the last episode, she had a little bit of fire. So she you know, she would have made some kind of fight, but she didn't make that. But she essentially watched her son be carried off by these two men, and I feel like a part of that was kind of like, well, I'm watching you go away, but I know that you'll survive, so I'm kind of okay with this, as a kind of like parent kind of mentality. Do you know what I mean? So that was very interesting to actually see and actually think about, and it's like, well, you know, but I was also kind of fucked as I'll see, like, you know, this old lady's like being dragged off, and it's like, oh, that's. I mean, the son is being dragged off by these men. So it's, oh, that's kind of sad. But like, it's actually a greater, kind of symbolism as to, like, you know, essentially what happens in life. Anyway, continuing on. The next number what they needed was 8, right? Correct. I think that was the next number I think that they needed, and this is where unfortunately young me, the group that was a part of with the old lady and her son and the transgender individual, that particular group, she meets her end. And the way this happens is that, like, she's just too slow in keeping up with the group that they were trying to get into the door. And she was behind, and someone bumps into her and she's thrown to the ground, and she wasn't able to get to the door in time to essentially be, you know, saved within this room. But luckily, I come out of nowhere. One of the crypto guy. I keep saying the crypto guy. I keep saying these guys and these girls, but like, again, I don't want to mess up the names. Like, I know that I would butcher them, and I don't want to cause any disrespect to any Korean individuals or Korean. The creator of this was brilliant. I don't want to cause any disrespect anyway. But like, he comes in, he saves them right at the last minute, because like, everybody would have been dead. Like, and he makes this point, everybody would have been dead if he had not come in at the last minute, because like, realistically, and the transgender individual comes, like, holds him like by his shirt and stuff, and like, she's like very mad, like she has lost this person that she made a connection with in here with, but he makes the very fair and accurate point that everybody would be dead inside of that room if he had not locked the door behind him and close the door behind him, because it automatically locks. Close the door behind him and getting everybody into this room in time, because she was on the floor. Someone pushed her on the floor as she was running with them to get into the room, and she was very far away, and she was not gonna make it. It was literally down very, very tight to a very, very tight milliseconds as to which they could get into this room, and she just didn't make it. She was part of the issue. She just didn't make it. Like, I think you know, as dark as it sounds, like they were lucky that he did come inside right in the nick of time, because she wasn't making it. She was too far. And I know, like, the transgender individual is like pretty tall, and like they think that they could have saved her, but I don't think, and I'm sorry, but like, I think she was too far. She was too far away. That was like more than like 5 steps away. She was a good couple feet away. It wasn't happening. But anyway, Gion's team and everybody else, the main cast, essentially, everybody else survives this challenge of the main cast, and they get through, and they make it through to the final round. And the final round starts up, and essentially they're on this carousel there. Everybody's wondering what's the number going to be, and of course, like, the front man who knows like these games, he's like, the next number is essentially going to be 2, and this is where some crazy fucked up shit happens. And this is where some crazy fucking shit kind of, well, crazy on first watch and kind of crazy on the second watch as well. So everybody pairs up, and of course, you know, like, the mother and son get paired up as well, and the two wonder dicks, Thanos and his crony, pair up together, leaving essentially Minsu instantly in a snap, betraying him and betraying his betraying their bond that they just had formed with when they had 3 individuals go into a room in the previous game. And it's like, well, what the fuck? Anyway, so the game starts, and like I gotta say, like on the first watch, I wanted to mention this real quick. The sorry, the music of Squid Game, really cool. I gotta admit, I gotta look. Let's take a quick peek as to who does the music for Squid Game, real quick, because like the thing for this behind this, it's Jung Jae Il. This sequence when I first saw it, this like is very intense, like pumping sequence of like with the taikos in the background, the type of drums. The composition for this is like really, really cool. Like all throughout them going into these different rooms, there wasn't like any kind of like real kind of like music, but this one was like so intense and like so important. This was like the final round. You need 2 people in here, so it was like and the taikos are going. It's like you felt the heat in that. And so the round goes on, and they're able to get these people. Everybody's able to basically get inside of their rooms. That is made for 2 people, except for Junbei, Gyeon's friend, and Young Il, aka the front man. And they're trying to get inside of this room, and they're literally clawing and fighting and kicking and pushing people to get inside of this room. And Junbei walks into one of the rooms, and it's like, okay, well, maybe we're safe. Junbei is like, maybe we're safe. We finally got in this room, but it's like, bum. When he walks in the room, someone's already in there. And this is after Young Il essentially literally kicks a motherfucker out of Junbei's way to get inside of this room. And so meeting him in there, Junbei basically freezes and is like, oh, I don't know what to do. And Young Il, aka the front man, which is like some real sus shit. It does some real sus shit, and it's like, and he's basically like, get the fuck out of here. And the guy in there was like, no, we were in there first. And then motherfucker just essentially fights him, holds on to him, gets him in a headlock, and breaks his fucking neck for this room. Essentially killing them, making the room basically only filled with 2 people. And Junbei looks at this dude like, what in the fuck? Like there are signs. Like this dude is like a little off. This is a little crazy. It was an intense scene, but also I will say, even though I guess it's more kind of warped because we know that he's the front man. We know that, and we know certain things about that. But I want to say that despite us knowing that, like, it's gonna be a hot take, guys. He did nothing wrong. He did nothing. In those circumstances, Young Il, the front man, if he was just a regular player, he went in there and he just wanted to take that guy out because like there was no time. Are we gonna really judge him too hard? We know what this is. It's Squid Game. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's eat or be eaten. It's a dog eat world, or however the fuck they say. How the fuck they say it. It's you or me, right? And you gotta choose me. That's all they say. So it's an intense fucking thing. And I know, or maybe a lot of people watching it was like, oh, I don't agree. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with what the front man did? Even if he is the front man, would you have done that? Or you know what I mean? But there was no time. Hot take, like I said, I don't believe he did it. But let me know in the comments, guys, what you think. Anyway, so he kills this guy, and Junbei was like, dude, whoa. You know? He's like, dude, whoa. And it's like this is kind of, this is a bit too much. We gotta throw him out, but we don't have to kill him. I mean, he's a little bit off, but they all survive this round and they get through it. And obviously, you know, and very much like a social situation, mingling in general makes things awkward. It's an awkward practice that we people on this planet just like seem to, for whatever reason, be okay with and just doing. Some people like love to mingle and like socializing. I think like, okay, like yeah, like socializing in general can be generally awkward, but I get like where maybe is like necessary sometimes, but like this game in general is weird. Mingling in a party situation, especially like when they're strangers and stuff, I think it's kind of a little bit weird, but I don't know, a little bit of my take, I guess. But anyway, guys, So I think that was more like the intense hype of the episode, and by now I think we've just need to understand like the status quo of some of these episodes. They do a game and they vote, they do a game and then they vote. So that's exactly what happens in the next couple of scenes. They do a vote. We're going through the highlights of this. They do this vote, and then through this vote they're hoping that they can essentially go home, because at this point, I'm just letting you know, and I've been doing this through the episodes, this point they each individually, not collectively, individually would take home $300 million. And brother, if that's not enough, I don't know what will be. I really don't know what will be. I really don't know. We passed the point of enough a long time ago, but I don't know. So the vote goes down, and it's actually surprisingly a 50-50 split. And what happens, you would think in a tie that maybe there'd be a coin toss or some shit like that. But no, the individual that's running the show, the announcer, I should just call him the announcer, the main guy that's running the show, he's like, you know what? Yeah, I know it's a tie, and we could all let you go, just call us at end and just break even and be like, okay, 50-50, whatever, let's just let it be. But he's like, nah, we'll let you sleep on it. Like the like the evil fucking like the evil fucking car salesman that they fucking are. They're like, no, we want to see some more bloodshed. We need to, we want to see some more carnage. We need you guys to be a little bit more. We need to be a little bit more entertained by you guys. You guys have been doing well so far, but we need a little bit more carnage. So we'll let you sleep on it, and then we'll do it all over again. We'll let you vote, which is so fucked. I mean, honestly, at that point, you should just like let the motherfuckers that want to leave. And then like keep these other motherfuckers who want to play, let them keep playing, and you just like recount that. Because I feel like, again, the fairness of this would be like, let these motherfuckers go, count them as eliminated, but let them live. And then like, if they want to keep playing, let these motherfuckers keep playing. But didn't go down like that, well, as we know, but no spoilers ahead. We're just on the 6th episode here. Anyway, continuing on with the episode. So after they vote, like I said, it's mealtime. It's time to eat. And everybody is trying to, the red X's and the O's, appropriately named episode, they're trying to convince motherfuckers to, join the dark side or join the light side, the X's or the O's. You choose which one side it basically is, the dark or the red. I mean, the dark or the light. But everybody has their reasons. But anyway, each side starts to argue and try to make their case as to why they should basically switch sides to essentially revote either whether to stay or to go, the X's or the O's. And essentially they start round with one another to the point where it almost becomes physical. And this is the location within like the place where they essentially sleep. They taunt one another, getting their jabs in back and forth. But for the most part, it seems like cooler heads do essentially prevail. And they draw a line between one another's and the X's and the O's on one side, opposite sides of one another. And they're yelling, and it really reminded me of like one of those protests you would see like in one of those like big metropolitan cities. And it really reminded me of that until like Gion makes a shocking and a very horrifying revelation that in this particular meal, they have been given forks to eat their meals with. And anybody that's watched the first season of this show knows that in the last season towards the end of the games, they were giving knives and forks to eat for the last meal, but they were able to hold on to the utensils until the very, very actually they cleaned up the plates and they took away their dishes, but they are able to hold on to the cutlery, which would suggest an undertone of possibly murder with those weapons, essentially. The scene cuts back to essentially where Thanos is basically bullying Mingsu inside of the bathroom, and he's telling them about how he's trying to basically convince him and throw him to the side of coming to the O side of wanting to play another game so they can get more money, essentially. And this is just basically sparks a fight within the bathroom between the Reds and the Blues, the X's and the O's, of essentially between the Bitcoin guy and Thanos. And this bathroom brawl essentially breaks out between the two sides. And it looks like a whole old-fashioned gang war that happens in like the 90s or some shit. And they're fighting, and it gets really, really intense. And sadly, this is the fight that leads to the end of our, very enjoyable character and the very enjoyable performance of Thanos. The Bitcoin guy essentially gets him to the ground. He eventually gets the Bitcoin guy to the ground. Thanos does, and while Thanos is basically trying to strangle him to death, the Bitcoin guy, out of nowhere, I guess they had the same idea. He finds a fork and he stabs Thanos, right underneath the jaw, and that's how the episode essentially ends. Pretty good episode. Honestly, very, very entertaining. I think I enjoyed it much more than the last the episode before that we reviewed. I can't remember what that one was called, but that one was just okay. This one was actually pretty good in my opinion, actually, because we got the game and we got some more the conclusion of the game. We got some more a little bit more the dynamics as to how Squid Game in general is essentially played. So we're gonna move to the next section called Ash's favorite scenes, like we always do. Number one scene, definitely in this, I think. One of the favorite scenes coming in this was the young Eel showing a little bit of who he actually was to Jungbei. And even during the voting process, he was trying to get them to actually see that maybe perhaps young Eel isn't quite on the up and up, isn't quite who he says he is. But him murdering that guy inside of the room that was just meant for two was so intense, and it was kind of like, whoa, a little bit shocking. But at the same time, like I said before, I don't know. We can't really say if he did anything particularly, wrong. I don't know if I would argue and say that he did anything particularly wrong. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Coming in at number 2 from one of Ash's favorite scenes, I think, was definitely the scene with coming in with number 2, definitely I think the scene that was very interesting to watch was actually the guys. We didn't even talk about them too much, but the guys was on the getting closer to the island and to find out that they have booby traps on the island that are surrounding islands that basically host the Squid Game. That's actually interesting because it expands the world a little bit, and you think about maybe that seems about accurate and right, that those booby traps would be essentially set up throughout the area so no one would be catch-wise to essentially with what they're doing. Coming in at number 3 for one of Ash's favorite scenes, in no particular order, which one is the favorite, I gotta say maybe this is number 1, the death of Thanos. I didn't see it coming. Let me know if you saw it coming in the comments. I know maybe someone was gonna die. A few of them are probably gonna die in this episode once they had those utensils. It's this seems very, very familiar from the first season. But sadly, we had to go and see Thanos get murked. And let me know what you guys think in the comments about that overall, of Thanos' performance, and interact with me a little bit on that, and how he went, and was his death justified? Was it for the kind of character he was? Was it a satisfying end for Thanos? In my opinion, I don't think so. But at the same time, him stabbing him, okay, I don't know if I would have not done the same thing realistically in that situation. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And lastly, guys, we gotta get the on review score for this episode. This episode of season 2 for the Squid Games, episode 6 is gonna receive, definitely, I think it's a 4 out of 5 for this one, mates. It's 4 out of 5 for this one, mates. You're going to say it's 4 out of 5 for this one. I'm also a voice actor. Don't forget that. Yes. Right on. Cheerio. That's not, well, no, that's British. Not. It's, crikey. G'day. Anyway, 4 out of 5 for this one. And that's just, that's the score. We finally reached the end of the episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget to check us out on all of our socials, so Facebook, the Instagram, and the Twitter of OnReviewCast. And also, guys, don't forget to check out some of my music, Ashley Anomaly and Anomaly Beats, all on all streaming services. We got some more new music coming very soon. And like I said before, in all of these, I would check out the music. I would take a look at that. Be on the lookout for some of new channels that might be coming out as well. That might be, anime related or maybe some shows related. Who knows, guys? Keep up with me on YouTube as well. But lastly, guys, don't forget, like I said, at the end of these, be safe, be kind, be you. Take care.